debunk that thought.
Proceed, Senator Eddy.
You know, I still see the CS as a former chair of ODM, so I still tread with caution because I don't want my certificate interfered with. But that's on a lighter note. Just to say that I am getting us almost going to a common argument called whataboutism. Yes. Whataboutism is a practice where there is conflicting scenarios. Then we tend to look at answering, some tough questions, but by saying, yes, it's wrong on my side, but what about you also doing it? You also have the same problem. It doesn't solve the problem. By getting ourselves to a situation whereby we start looking at national government's misgivings, both in terms of raising resources and spending, and then we say that, but there is also discretionary funds in the counties. It becomes problematic, Bwana CS. I find it very problematic. Because the spirit of Article 202, if I get it, there is substantive conversation around raised national revenue. And then there's a conversation in the same article about additional allocation of funds by national government. I want to separate those two spirits with a lot of respect. If we're talking about the national raised revenue, which is what the spirit of DORA has been, then at any given point when the issues of non-discretionary expenses raises in counties, there is no wiggle room around it. It's just simple as that, Bwana CS. If we were talking about national additional funds by the national government, then it makes it very easy, because the fundamental question that then becomes is what Senator Tabitha had asked, which I don't want to belabor, which is the question of what is the scientific explanation of the 20 billion? Is it an arbitrary number, and then there's a laundry list that is a wish list that each county will then go and navigate through their discretionary expenses to match that gap? Or is it it just a number that came from some inspiration? That's the question that I asked that I don't think has been explored, because it is the bone of contention here, that this 20 billion that you want to take from counties, do you want to take it from counties and then let counties go and figure out, the 47 of them, how then they balance the equation, the discretionary, which then that brings a very, very serious whataboutism conversation, which for me, because you are still my wonderful chair, because of the way you sound, you mentored me, I don't want to get, because when I get to it, then it could get us out of the conversation. And I think that is the question which we have, because if you don't answer it, then we are talking about, despite the number that you have put, and if the base that you are working with is still 2021 of the audited financial year, then you will still find that the money that goes to counties, even with the figure that you have presented, is still reducing. When we're talking about strictly shareable revenue, it is constantly reducing, while the national government is constantly increasing. So then the danger with this, as a young person looking at where our country is, then the danger with it is that then, Bwana CS, we cannot have a vibrant, holistic conversation around this fiscal consolidation conversation that we need to have as a country. Because then you're going to limit yourself on, we are cutting on our side, we are doing wrong things on our side, you're also doing wrong things on our side, let's have this conversation that way. But if we look at it from functionality of these county governments and what they can and they can't do, Then when you meet this committee, because it's a very able committee, and I'm very unhappy today that the chair is not here and Onyonka is not here in person and Faki is not here in person. Those are honorable senators. Then we would have pushed ourselves in the same partnership conversation we have had with the Treasury. And Albert, you know this. Probably could tell the CS. We could have pushed ourselves to have a very hard conversation on where are the gaps in this country that are causing us to have this physical constraint. The first, honestly, is the issue of that deficit at national level. When the CS, the former CS, was sitting on the same seat you are sitting there, and the budget policy statement of the previous year was presented, this particular committee insisted to the CS on some areas where we thought very critically, and some of them President Abuni has talked to, that the deficit was coming from, that ought to have been considered and be reduced. That conversation is missing on this physical consolidation conversation. Senator Boni has tried to invite you on a conversation on the structural elements of our taxes and our taxation. And I'm actually glad that I saw the other day you were initiating a conversation around it on why we should cut some corporate taxes. But even those tiers of taxes, we invited the Treasury on a conversation on how we should be able to rethink our taxation to allow for more to come on the lieu. That conversation is missing on this fiscal consolidation because we are obsessed with this issue of this 20 billion. We are talking about the issue of leakages and wastage in government. And we are only focused on KRA, but we also know very well that there are procurement officers in this government that constantly are inflating very serious expenses in government to the tune of 300 billion that we're trying to look for in this particular physical consolidation. It is missing. We are talking about the same procurement officers whereby you'll find that even among real estate agents today, if you look at developers who are doing serious buildings and any other development things in this country, they are running single accounts for multiple projects in this county that does not allow for serious money circulation in the economy that can be able to help with this physical consolidation. A number of legislative pieces that could come in this for physical consolidation is missing because we are obsessed with this conversation about whataboutism. Bwana CS, the 20 billion for county government that we're fighting over should not be touched. If we are willing to have a serious conversation about how we approach this physical consolidation with this committee, our chair can guide on that and perhaps we can come into that conversation. But I am not convinced, scientifically, I am not convinced by the National Treasury why this 20 billion must be reduced in the wake of what I've presented clearly, the non-discretionary commitments that half of them, it is not the county government that committed to. Half of them, it is the national government that made the counties commit to. KIPES, the national government made the counties commit to the 11.7 billion we're talking about. The CBA agreement, the national government made the counties commit to. The community health promoters, the national government made the counties commit to. And we cannot go back and tell today community health promoters who have volunteered through sweat and blood for over 5 years in this country. We can't go and tell them that their money is not there because the government does not have money. In a place where leakages are mounting to 300 billion. If we go with a classical case that has been said by the executive that 1 billion is lost in this country every single day. So can we have a sober conversation about a proper approach to physical consolidation that makes sense policy-wide than just being able to come with this arbitrary number, 20 billion from counties?
Thank you so much, Senator Eddy. We are winding up on this. As you respond to this, there's something that you mentioned in your remarks. You talked about that you are in doubt that you can make available to counties 50% of the previous allocation as per our regulation 134. But as per the PS letter dated on 5th of August, reference number IGFR/SG/01B34, the PS had considered that this transfer can be made because it is as far as their salaries and wages are concerned. You've talked about you're waiting for the AG to be able to advise. What is the timeline and why is it again you as a new currency? Yes, Waziri?
Maybe let me start, Chair, with the last issue that you've raised regarding these transfers to the counties. Yes, that was the position of the PS, and I will tell you it was also my position, though not documented anywhere. But I will tell you that opinions are divided on this. If you engage with Parliament, they will tell you a different opinion. What we have done is to seek the proper legal opinion now from the government legal advisor, the Attorney General. And actually today I'd asked for a follow-up to that letter. I am sure by the end of the day I'll know whether AG has acted. If she will have not acted, I will call her personally so that we get off this matter. We have already made a provision for next week to make transfers to counties. We want to make transfers to counties. If the opinion will come positive, we will make the 32 billion, thereabout.
Can you just affirm the figure?
Yeah, it's about 32 per month. It's about 32 billion.
Per month?
Yes, per month,
okay.
Monthly. For us to be able to clear. I'm working with 380, by the way. Yeah, on that assumption. So if it will be 400 billion, we will adjust appropriately. Now, on so that is as far as the transfers are concerned.